Well, good Wednesday morning, everyone, and happy New Year's Eve. Can you believe it's the last day of 2025?
Yeah, and if anyone's keeping count, it is 17 hours and 59 minutes until the new year.
Well, we did say the countdown was on, and it is still super cold outside.
And for many across the state, it's certainly going to be a year to remember, particularly out towards southeast, where we've seen that ongoing heavy snowfall, which will lighten up today. And then, of course, into the interior, which is dealing with one of the coldest Decembers since 1980. Now, here across South Central, while we have been holding on to some cold conditions for the month of December, our big story continues to be the lack of snowfall that we're seeing in the forecast. And then, of course, as you head out towards western Alaska and along the slope, we're still holding on to some of those colder conditions. Now, winds may gust today up to about 20 to 30 miles per hour for inland areas of South Central. Greatest concern for those winds will be through western parts of Prince William Sound, down towards Seward, as well as Kodiak, which we'll see some gusty conditions throughout the day. But winds for the most part this morning are not a concern. The wind chills, though, 23 below is what it feels like in Kenai, 14 below in Soldotna. Into the valley, we do have those sub-zero values as well as some single-digit wind chill concerns. So as we continue to head through the day and those winds begin to pick up, we'll likely see those sub-zero values remaining with us for a good portion of your New Year's Eve. There's that snow that continues for coastal regions through Prince William Sound out towards Seward. Much like we did see yesterday evening, we will see that potential for at least some flurries throughout the day, but largely holding on to this dry stretch of weather that we've been dealing with. And we're actually going to tap into some colder conditions as we usher in the new year with the potential that highs, we could be seeing 1 to about 3 days where those afternoon highs stay below zero. We are in the teens today, but by midnight tonight, as you ring in the new year, we're going to be sitting up under clear skies, and those temperatures will be sitting around 2 degrees around midnight, even colder through the night. I'll have more on that, and of course that snow for southeast coming up.
The extreme cold in the interior is leading to an increase in vehicle accidents in the Fairbanks area. That's according to state troopers, who say it's mostly due to ice fog. Now, the fog has mixed out, but that doesn't mean the risk is gone. Tires that are deflated by the cold are still prone to blowouts, and troopers want everyone to remember when they're traveling in these dangerous temperatures to be prepared.
If you're going to be driving, especially here over the New Year's holiday, and it's going to involve kind of traveling in some of these areas, experiencing this extreme cold or other extreme winter conditions, please carry additional supplies in your vehicle. Carry warm clothing. Tell somebody where you're going.
Troopers also recommend carrying extra food and water in case you get stuck and have to wait for help. But the main advice they offer, if you can stay home, that's the best option. A massive 2-alarm fire in an industrial area of North Anchorage, fueled by heavy winds and hazardous conditions, challenged firefighters Monday night. One of them experienced a close call. 8 of 13 fire stations responded to the 2-alarm blaze off of Viking Drive at around 5:30. AFD says a downed power line was creating issues near the site, but Chugach Electric was quick to respond.
First-in officer did a really good job about circling the building, figuring out where he could find out where charring was at and where they needed to make entry at, and we actually ended up making entry from 2 different sections of the structure, and then they got in and got a quick knockdown on what was causing the problem.
AFD said firefighters faced hazardous conditions, including toxic black smoke. One was struck by a fan that burned through the ceiling, but the battalion chief told us the person was checked out, released, and back at work. Targeting retail theft, the Anchorage Police Department says a recent effort has been a success in reducing the crime. Chief Sean Case says the city has seen a decline in shoplifting since a special retail theft unit was created at the end of December. In the past 3 months, APD says they've charged more than 100 people with crimes related to shoplifting and documented or recovered more than $80,000 in stolen merchandise. Case says the emphasis on retail theft is bringing the numbers down.
I think this is a great example of what we can see as a community we can do when you take a dedicated unit with target operations, visible patrols, and businesses all working together.
The chief said extra patrols in shopping areas will come to an end in January, but efforts to work with local businesses to prevent retail theft will continue. Anchorage police also have a message for revelers while welcoming in the new year this evening. They urge people to have fun, stay safe, and don't get behind the wheel if you've been drinking. Police say they will have extra officers on the street this New Year's Eve and will be on the lookout for people who are breaking the law.
All the traffic coming and going in the downtown area, we'll always have an overtime detail for that. And then we'll call in additional, probably 5 officers is what we discussed this morning, so that we just have extra officers on street so they're able to handle the potential demand.
Additional law enforcement patrols will be out in Fairbanks and other areas of the state as well, looking for dangerous drivers and drunk drivers. Some Alaskans in Southeast are taking advantage of the winter storms. Most Alaskans have probably heard about surfing the board tide here in Anchorage or maybe off the Homer Spit, but Sitka in Southeast has become a regular spot for those hoping to hang 10. Through the summer, the water is typically pretty flat, as you can see here, but a combination of swelling seas and winter storms led to a well-shaped wave like the ones that can be seen yesterday, with wave forecasts peaking at 8 to 2 foot waves. A local we spoke with has been surfing the Sandy Beach break since the 70s and said it's encouraging to see the popularity of the sport grow from just a half dozen to more than the 60 that he estimates.
I think one of the most is just the camaraderie, and then the just spanning from community to community. I actually go up into Yakutat and help with their surf camp. And it becomes a community event in some areas is rather cool and special.
Meantime, a new cafe in Wasilla serves more than just coffee. It's saving the lives of furry friends. Danny Tompkins spent a day with kittens to see what kind of support they're getting.
Talia Rice is just 18 years old and running the Alaska Cat Cafe in Wasilla.
We usually have about 20 to 30 cats at once.
And she's giving cats a second chance.
It's very, very satisfying, and oftentimes we'll get in kittens who aren't in the best of health, and it's always really, really nice seeing them get like super healthy and stuff.
In a state where animal shelters can often operate at capacity, Talia is creating a new model for rescue. She opened in July after visiting a similar cafe in Hawaii, and she now cares for kittens with serious medical needs. Like Nacho.
She is very, very cute, and she's a spoiled little princess.
Who needs $6,000 worth of eye surgery.
For her prolapsed third eyelids, basically just due to the structure of her face, she's got a very small, flat face. Her eyes don't want to cooperate with her. So.
Medical costs pile up quickly with vaccines, cat litter, and emergency care. A simple stomachache could end up costing $600. But in early December, the community stepped up. They raised over $5,000 on GoFundMe to support these whiskered residents.
It's really, really nice seeing all the support from the community.
With more funding in the bank, Cat Cafe plans to keep supporting kittens like Nacho. So far, they've raised $1,500 towards Nacho's surgery. In just 6 months, the cafe has found new homes for many kittens. Rice says the support means she can keep saying yes. Danny Tompkins, Alaska's news source.
Oh, too cute. Coming up, welcoming in 2026 means many of us are thinking about New Year's resolutions, but why do so many of them fail? We'll share expert advice on a different approach that could help you stick to your goals all year long.
And that record-breaking snowfall, which has smashed the December record for Juneau, will lighten up throughout the day, but still more snow expected into the new year. I'll have more on that. First at sunrise, coming in at 10:54 in Fairbanks, 10:57 in Bethel. Your full forecast is next.
And tell me about what you're hoping to get out of the New Year's.
I'm hoping to work on my own business as an English, teaching English as a second language publishing company, hopefully to be based out of Bali, Indonesia.
Hopefully be nicer to people because we really need it.
Welcome back in on this Wednesday, and happy New Year's Eve. Anyone going out to see any fireworks or anything is definitely going to want to bundle up, as we have been for the past few weeks, Aaron.
And there is some good news for Southeast. They've been smashed when it comes to the amount of snowfall they've seen over the last several days. But we are expected to see, as you continue to dig out from this significant winter storm, a lot lighter activity is to be expected today. Now, this is the storm totals that we've been able to compile since that heavy snowfall began. About 5 miles southeast of Haines. 53 inches of snowfall. Hoonah saw just over 55 inches. Just 1 mile northwest of Haines saw nearly 70 inches of snowfall. And then Juneau reporting 46.8 inches of that snow accumulation. Of course, areas surrounding Juneau, North Douglas, and other locations have seen some higher amounts. But this brings our December snowfall for the month, smashing that previous record set back in 1964 by 25.1 inches. And keep in mind, an additional 3 to 5, 6 inches of snowfall is expected through the rest of today. So we could end December with over 80 inches of snowfall for Juneau, which is certainly a far cry from what we typically see for the month. Now, that area of low pressure that's in the northeastern Gulf of Alaska, that will begin to kind of lighten that activity later today. We're not seeing as significant of that heavy snowfall, but we're still holding on to some winter storm warnings as you head through the northern panhandle, while areas out towards Ketchikan, particularly the Ward Lake recreational area, continues to see a flood advisory. Now, anytime we see flooding occurring out towards Ward Lake recreational area, this tends to be a precursor to the potential that we could see some landslide issues, but thankfully winds are dying down across the region, or the rain, I should say, is dying down across the region, and that flood advisory remains in effect through this evening. So notice throughout today, yes, this morning, ongoing heavy snowfall remains, but as we welcome in the afternoon and the evening hours, we'll begin to see a lot lighter activity and possibly several hours of seeing some dry breaks as we welcome in the evening. So for your New Year's Eve, while we can't rule out some passing snow showers, the vast majority of Southeast we'll see a lot quieter conditions in terms of that precip. And then as we welcome in the new year, we will begin to see a gradual return to snow and possible rain as you head through the southern parts of the panhandle. So the good news is this storm system is winding down. But as we welcome in the new year, we will begin to see additional rounds of some snow building back in. Through today and into tomorrow, you can see again about an additional 3 to 6 inches of snowfall looks possible. These darker purples and pinks, that's where you're going to see that 6-ish inches of that snowfall accumulation. Areas to the south may see some wintry mix, but largely expecting rain to remain with you. So that snowfall total for Juneau, that should be sitting at around 79.8 inches. Notice the annual snowfall, 80.8 inches. So we've seen nearly 100% of our seasonal snowfall total occur during the month of December. And then you can see here in Anchorage, we're struggling in the snowfall department, but we will see a transition into what looks like to be an active weather pattern as we welcome in January. But as far as that overall forecast, that 7 days showing that quieter weather Thursday and Friday for Juneau, and then that snow builds back in through the new year.
Welcoming the new year often coincides with making New Year's resolutions, annual goals set to make change in our life, but many times people have difficulty reaching the finish line. Adrian Peterson explains why and gives us some recommendations on how to stick to them from a few experts.
From eating healthy to trying new activities, New Year's resolutions can demand a lot from us. Part of the problem, however, is the rigidity of our goals and the concept of the resolution itself.
So you might have a resolution that says, I'm going to exercise 4 days a week. And then life happens, and maybe all of a sudden you're now only able to exercise 2 days a week.
She says this can lead to people giving up on their resolutions. That's in part due to the resolution becoming connected to our identity.
As soon as we don't start hitting these markers that we've, established in our head, it starts to chip away at that identity and we start feeling bad about ourselves.
But that's not the intent behind the resolution, and it's why she recommends setting New Year's intentions.
The idea behind setting an intention versus a resolution is an intention is based around your values.
She says focusing on intentions lets people be flexible with their goals and readjust those goals to fit their life as it unfolds.
Something that I like to do with setting an intention for a year is I will do kind of a monthly check-in with myself, or maybe with a supportive person in my life, where we'll check in at the end of the month, like this is what my goal was for the month.
Carr says this helps to ensure we are still making progress with our goals without being negative about results. Adrian Peterson, Alaska's news source.
And a quick programming note, we will not have news this evening or Thursday as we spend time with our families. If you're looking for fireworks displays, though, we've got a few in Anchorage. The fireworks show is happening at 3rd Avenue and East Street at 8. That's tonight. Eagle River will also have one at Lions Park at the same time. Idita Park in Wasilla will host their event at 8 tonight as well. Also tonight, Girdwood will have its annual Torchlight Parade at Alyeska Resort at 9. A fireworks show is also taking place in Fairbanks at the 8-Star Events Center at 9. And if you're around Seward on a New Year's Eve tonight, check out the fireworks at Waterfront Park. Those will go off at 8 p.m.
Thanks for listening to our podcast. Click subscribe so you can get the latest podcasts from Alaska's news source automatically and stay up to date with breaking news and in-depth reporting available for free 24/7 with the Alaska's news source app.